Welcome back to the WatchTower Film Podcast, the film review podcast on the Towercast Network by cinephiles for cinephiles.
What are you doing,
back
Bester?
I'm doing my thing, bro.
Dude, let him do his thing.
Let me get lost in the sauce.
Thang. Man needs thang.
Welcome back to War Month.
Don't question.
We appreciate you tuning in, and if you're tuning in and you haven't liked or subscribed,
What are you
please
doing?
make sure to do so.
Come on.
Share it with your friends. Let them know there's a cool fucking film podcast out there right now.
Yeah,
Go
man.
get it.
We got an interesting insight in movies.
Yeah, so if they love movies, just tell them to come on. I have so many. I'm constantly shocked at how many people who aren't really cinephiles love this podcast more than cinephiles. It just always throws me off. But I have people who are just like, dude, I never saw movies that where you guys. I love how you guys talk about movies. So we appreciate that. So
Yes.
just tell everybody, not just people who love movies, because
Tell the homeless person on the corner.
yeah, they might dig it. They might have an hour to kill.
I don't know if they can access it.
Dude, homeless
They
people
have
have
cell
phones
They
now.
have better cell phones than I do, man. You
They have a
fucking
whole
kidding me?
living room in
Dude,
the
I've
back
seen
that
homeless
can't-
people hold up signs that say take cash or cash
In fact, the next season of Cribs
Cash App.
is going to be homeless edition. You have no idea.
Oh, my God.
They have
Dude,
a
invite
fucking
the
espresso
landlord.
machine better than ours, I'm telling you. It's great.
Landlord.
The landlord. Shout out to the landlord. She knows. Burger King, you know.
Nice.
Sunday. Thank you guys for tuning in to
Yes.
this episode, and happy Veterans Day for those. Happy
Absolutely.
belated Veterans Day. This was last week.
Mad props to you guys.
So yeah, we released Come and See. For no specific reason to release it on Veterans Day. Okay, so just because it's War
I
Month.
know. We all just
Very
kind of
true.
we picked our War Month picks, and I mean,
3 out of the 4 are anti-war films.
yeah. So it was a very like mixed bag. Like we just thought, like, hey, let's just do it on November. We'll do War Month. What's your favorite war film? And
No,
then we started
Like,
picking.
it was very specific. Like Austin says, it was because Veterans Day is in November.
No, I know,
But-
but then when we started picking them,
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we
It
didn't
wasn't
pick
like-
with any like, this is gonna really, we didn't do Saving Private Ryan. We said, hey, want to feel bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think, veterans could appreciate that.
Yeah,
Come and
yeah,
see.
they know the ugly side of war, of
Yeah.
course, more than anybody. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in, and of course
Thank
we
you.
got after today's episode we have one more to go. We're gonna be doing the Outpost next week, so stick around for that. That is a request from a viewer.
Nice.
So
Which viewer?
Mr. Eddie Young himself.
Can we put his gamer tag here on the screen? Shout him out.
That's
So it's right here, the game
He doesn't
tag.
play video games.
fellow actor, fellow
would it
veteran,
be?
fellow daddy, fellow
He's
train
a
daddy.
veteran?
Yeah, he's a veteran.
Oh,
He's a veteran.
nice.
Standard Badger.
Eddie Young.
He's an OG Badger.
OG,
OG
Badger,
Badger.
train daddy.
Can you put
Appreciate
at OG Badger just like on the screen?
Can we have a speeding train? Just, it's train daddy.
Production.
Alright, Peanut.
Peanut?
Yeah, like Jeff Dunham.
No. So that request will be coming up next week. We are talking about today Mr. Jean-Eric Castro's pick.
Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick.
Can I just say, I always like the way that you introduce Castro.
Mr. Jean-Eric Castro?
Yeah, because you don't say John, you say
He
Jean.
doesn't like John.
It's Jean, dog. There's no H.
Jean?
It's French.
Where's the H?
Jean?
Where's the H?
John. Yeah, he's been
Show me
very
the
clear
H.
about that since we met him.
So it's Jean.
Yeah.
Here's your H.
H this.
H
This.
that.
Mr. Jean-Eric Castro. Yeah, I'm very,
I love
very
it. I
specific.
love it.
He doesn't like
Yeah.
John. It's
No.
not John.
But then when you say it, it's kind
Although,
of like,
yeah.
Oh, what does that mean? Like, you never
It's
told
got
me
some
this.
stank on it.
No, I was like, oh, look at this guy adding bonus points with Jean.
That's
exactly how it sounds.
Oh,
It's
okay.
French.
Pronounce
Speaking of which, introducing Mr. Jean-Eric Castro, offering a acting perspective.
And
yes.
French.
And French. And this is one of my favorite war films ever.
I like it.
Mr. What I love about Castro, especially in the films he picks, it's one of those things where he hasn't watched it in a while, or hasn't watched all of it, or he has the most innocence in any film viewer I've ever seen, because he's constantly like, dude, what the fuck? Is he gonna walk in there? It's like, dude, you've seen this. I know you've seen this. No, like he re-experiences
Yeah,
a
yeah,
film
I
every
love
time.
doing
So I
that.
love that. I think that's really cool.
I get
Mr.
into it.
Michael Delaw offering a cinematography perspective.
I just got off a cold.
He did. His voice is back.
Yep.
We almost lost him.
Shorts are gone, but voice is back. I mean, well, wait.
I miss your life.
I do too.
I don't. Got cold fast. I'm uncomfortable, just thinking about it. I had to put on a flannel to like.
Just to bounce.
You and I
Re-warm
both,
it.
pal.
I know. I'm so excited that it's getting like
flannel
cold.
season.
Yeah.
Did you
I
lose
mean-
your voice? I hate when I get a cold, I lose my voice.
Yeah. No, literally, I was starting to feel sick the last episode. I was like, I might be getting sick. Next day, voice gone. And
No,
I
he told
had-
us, he's like, I left the window open in my room. I'm fine.
yeah.
It's just like whatever.
Yeah, I was like, I got a little
It was
bit of
the
a sore
coldest night
throat.
ever.
Yeah. I was like, I got a little bit of sore throat, but I'll be fine. And I mean, even afterwards, like we played a bit and we're hanging out. Woke up the next day.
that's true.
Yeah, like fever, bedridden, like the whole nine. And then I was like, oh man, something hit me like a brick. And then it took like a week.
Yeah.
For me to just like recuperate, and then now it's like, oh, it's back now. Like I'm feeling good again. So yeah. But yeah, I'm back.
Just
Hi,
right now.
America.
Mr. Austin T. Young having different camera configuration, looking fucking sexy, blending in with the
Look
wall
at
with
that,
that shirt.
man.
I know.
This is my mic. This is my phone. This is my,
This is for fun.
This
for
is
the
for
fun.
fighting. This is for fun.
this is for fun.
Tune in to Tokyo,
This
Radio
is for
Tokyo.
podcast. This is for fun.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Good morning.
Offering a editing, producing perspective, as well as making sure we're sounding good on the ones and twos back there.
By the way,
You guys sound like shit today.
Good.
Me?
I can't fix it. Just in general.
So whose fault
What-
is
what do you
that?
mean?
That's
Yeah, it's your fault. You
do
try to
that.
shit on us, but
Yeah,
it's
man.
really your doing.
I got the voice of an angel right now.
I would say otherwise.
The
What were
equipment
you
is.
saying, Michael?
oh no,
Michael.
It's so icky to call
yeah,
Michael.
what the? Why'd you call him by his
What the hell
government
did you
name?
call him?
fuck.
What the fuck are you even that?
Are you Carlos, man? Who are you, bro?
No, it's fucking
Oh man,
weird, right?
you know what's weird is that the only people that call me Michael are like my parents and like my girlfriends are when they're mad at me. Like that's
Girlfriends.
yeah, you know.
Yo, Meg, we got some shit
Girlfriend.
to tell you.
Hey,
What the
you
hell
know,
even is
Podcast
that?
this
And
week.
the girlfriend.
with the ladies, you know. No, but I mean,
With the
like,
Gucci
I
daddy
appreciate
shorts,
that.
dude.
Like I don't know if you feel this way because
Hey, let me borrow
you
those
very,
Gucci shorts.
very like
Gucci
seriously
shorts.
have different nicknames, and I've noticed that I have different nicknames, and you and Austin call me Carlos. Like just that's it. Like you'll
Not
call me.
when
You
you're-
usually calls me Director Man or something in that vein.
when you're not around, we don't call you Carlos.
Oh, great. And then like Ricky calls me Abbott, and then like
Oh, that's
Eric
pretty
calls
cool.
me Fucker. You know, very endearingly or whatever.
But why Abbott though? Abbott's cool.
Because of
Abbott Elementary.
Wu-Tang.
Oh, that is actually cool. I'm gonna start
I
calling you
tried
Abbott.
watching that show. I couldn't do it.
Director Man Abbott. I'm gonna call you.
No,
Man.
I'm talking about Abbott Elementary.
Wait, what do you
Oh.
mean? We also like Parsi.
That's true. That's your partisan. That's like again, I appreciate
Daddy?
the different
Lover?
nicknames. Your dad's gonna watch this episode and be less proud of you.
He doesn't
You
watch
really want
anything.
that?
Scooper?
Mine's weird.
Cooper?
Mine's weird.
Yeah,
Everybody calls me either
you're
John or
Scooter.
Castro, but all my family calls me Eric. Eric.
Eddie.
Not
Eddie.
one person, especially not, I've never heard my
And
dad
nobody
call
ever
me
calls
John.
you even John. Yeah, I was gonna say
Never.
John.
My mom, Humberto, never.
I want to
Nobody,
take credit
yeah.
for
Never.
your Castro, by the way.
Even
Castro, I like it.
even Humberto
So,
calls you
like-
Eddie.
Eric?
Your
I've never
mom?
heard. I think I've heard my brother call me John to somebody else.
That's
is
well,
like,
because
what?
that's your professional name as an actor, right? Like that's what.
Well, yeah, but
Like
I mean-
everyone around town knows you as John Eric.
But I mean, it's always in, like when I was in elementary, it's always like the first one. But I never liked it. That's why I put Eric. I'm like, I like
Yeah.
Eric. John is too general.
So like, what about in bed?
Same with you.
Jean.
If I do something wrong in bed, they'll be like, John.
They're like,
Don't do
bitch,
that."
that's wrong.
Oh,
man.
I'm sorry, lady. We're already being accused of having too much testosterone on this podcast.
Hey,
So
that woman loved him long time.
long time. Horny shit. Me horny. Me love you long time.
Yeah, just be careful with some of the words,
That's
man.
where it comes from the film.
Yeah,
We're talking about
yeah.
Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket.
Super
in
horny.
Vietnam, the wind doesn't blow, it sucks. That's the tagline of this film.
It is.
The wind doesn't blow, it sucks.
Yeah. And I had the Blu-ray and I forgot to bring it, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm your humble film servant, Carlos Alvin de la Torre, offering a writing, directing perspective on this episode.
Go get him, Parsi.
Go get him, Parsi. We were constantly making jokes in this film about getting white meds and blue meds and any Fortnite reference you can think of.
Oh yeah. Where are we landing?
Yeah. So, yeah, this is Mr. Jean-Eric Castro's pick, so I'm going to let him kick off on why, and, you know. You're a big Kubrick fan to begin
yeah,
with, man.
I'm a
I
big
think
Kubrick
viewers of this
fan.
podcast can really confirm that.
The more I watch his films, I think he's got an overall good range, right? You got, Space
For sure,
Odyssey,
for sure.
you got Eyes Wide Shut, you got this war film. I don't know, man. This one is one of those where I was kind of embarrassed I hadn't watched it. I remember Avant had told me about it.
Oh, yeah?
He even called me out in front of class, and I was just like, I've never watched Full Metal Jacket fully, right? I'll see it in spurts and stuff. But just seeing that scene with Pyle, what's his name?
Private Pile.
Yeah, I remember I saw it when I was little, and I was just like, "Whoa! If this is just a part of this movie, this is."
You know what's funny is that, like, Dalal made a comment on that act that he was like, I thought this was the movie. I thought this is where it ends. I was like,
Yeah,
no, it's
why?
in the first act. ends.
Because everybody who references Full Metal Jacket will always reference like the private pile
Vincent
like
D'Onofrio, yeah.
sequence.
Okay, I
and
get
I
that.
always like, because I had seen like clips and it was so centered around him, I thought the movie was Private Pile.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean, to an
like,
extent it is. To an extent
Yeah.
it is. I mean, that it's a commentary,
Ooh.
right?
No,
it's a
but-
commentary.
I thought it was gonna be like that's it,
Yeah.
and it would just be like all the way through up until the very end. I thought the
Let's-
end was gonna be what ended up being, like
Yeah.
you said, the end of the first act.
Let's
which is
talk
crazy.
about that for a bit because our the very great. You guys know who Cameron Crowe is? Amazing director. He did like Almost Famous. It's probably his most
Crown of
famous
Crows?
film. Cameron Crowe.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. He did Almost Famous. He did like he did that show Roadies, and then he did Girls, the show Girls. No, he's
Did he do guys?
I hope not.
Roadies,
Google
Girls, and
Cameron
Guys.
Crowe. He's done a lot more amazing shit that I can't think of. My favorite of his is Almost Famous. But
I've seen that one.
he's terrific director and writer. And him and Billy Wilder, the great Billy Wilder, were having
Billy
a
Wilder?
conversation about Full Metal Jacket. And Billy Wilder tells,
Oh,
yeah, he did Vanilla Sky, he did Aloha, Jerry Maguire, Say Anything. I
Oh,
mean, this
wow,
guy's
Jerry
a fucking
Maguire.
legend, man. So Billy
Show
Wil-
me the money.
Billy Wilder and Cameron Crowe walk into a bar, and they're talking about Full Metal Jacket, and Billy Wilder tells Cameron Crowe, if Full Metal Jacket would have ended in the pile sequence, it would have been the best film of all time. Like he was just like, this is the film.
I get
you know,
it,
like
and
the
I
rest were
get that when
good,
he says
but
that,
if
but
we
it would
would have
be too
ended
short.
here, would have been fine.
no, but I mean, they could have really expanded because I mean,
Oh, okay,
even,
expanding in
even
it.
while I was watching like the pile sequence, like, I mean, great pacing. They really do take you like punch after punch with this guy, and I mean, it's crazy.
It fools you. It fucking fools you because you think, oh man, he made it. He got himself out of the mud. He climbed and he learned and
No,
he's memorizing
like,
and he
even
graduated and made it to the infantry.
Even
and then,
that, like, there's a breathing moment where it says, "Hey, Pyle, this is your new like leader, and he will show you what I have
You'll
failed
be
to show you."
bunking, yeah.
Yeah, and when they do that, like, that whole sequence is very like warming, and
Because he's
also,
even buttoning up his shirt. Like,
what I love is that every time we really see Pyle, we see him from this side profile, and the actor just has this nice little like smirk and smile. So you look at this like, you know, innocent, almost gentle giant. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he wants to be
Gentle
hard and he wants to be a
giant.
Marine, but you know, he's just a nice guy. Like, I mean, you can't imagine him being evil in any way, you know? And then when they're showing him how to do things, he's overcoming his own challenges, and you start seeing like he's getting better, but you know, he makes mistakes. I mean, like what everybody got mad at him for essentially was the whole jelly donut thing. It's like, poor guy, like, you know, he just wanted a jelly
it there,
donut and all that.
but there's also a certain beauty to it, which I want to kind of explain to it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and then I think by always shooting him from the side, when we finally like get to the sequence where it's towards the end and we only see him from that front angle, he looks so menacing and twisted.
By the
and
time you get there, this is, you know, Private Pyle's played by the brilliant Vincent D'Onofrio, and I hate using the term character actors because I don't think it's a nice term, but character actors are some of the best actors ever.
Yes.
And Vincent D'Onofrio is one of the best character actors ever, but more importantly, one of the best actors ever, I think. And I mean, if you like most recently, everybody's losing their shit because he's playing in Daredevil, the bald, what's his name?
And Daredevil.
Daredevil, the new show, the fucking what's his name? Bullseye. Is it Bullseye? I think it's Bullseye.
Oh, okay, this guy.
Yeah. He's
Really?
like, everybody's losing their shit, and they think this new actor. No, Vincent D'Onofrio has been doing some shit for a long time.
Yeah.
He was in Ed Wood. He plays Orson Welles in Ed Wood, man. Like he's
I
brilliantly. You know?
I just bought Ed Wood because I've never seen it. I want to
fucking
watch
love
it. Yeah.
Ed Wood,
It's
man.
good.
It's
It's-
terrific. Probably my
He
favorite
plays
Tim Burton
Fisk
film.
in Daredevil.
Fisk.
But like, well, he has like a villain name, like in the comic books.
Well, he's
right?
like a mob boss.
Yeah.
He's a
I
mob
think
boss.
he's called
He's not Bullseye.
It's not Bullseye. You're right, but it is somebody else. He has another name, but anyways, he's like brilliant, right? And anything he does, but again, people don't really know him. He's this kind of character actor.
It is true. Why?
I don't know, but like Castro and I talk constantly about this short film we fucking love called The New Tenant. It's an Academy Award winning short film, and it's a beautiful picture, like just all around. And Vincent D'Onofrio comes in to play this great role in a short, like amazing role. And there's some parallels to this film
New
with
Tenants.
New Tenants.
My
It's
bad,
terrific.
My bad. Yeah. I thought it was an apartment.
No, I said The New Tenants.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
But yeah, no, it's terrific. It's
It's a
just
good
terrific
one, man.
picture, and he does terrific in it. Kevin Corrigan is great in it too. But yeah, all of them, man, it's just a great picture. But Vincent D'Onofrio plays this role brilliantly. And to Delal's point, the sequence of him, like with us seeing his face and this menacing look, he knew what he wanted to get out of this, so he studied Universal Classic monsters
Really?
to get these facial techniques of like a monster.
Nice.
Because it's the whole commentary on this is the military made a monster
Yeah.
of this man. So he's like, oh, they made a fucking monster. I'm gonna play a monster, and that those facial looks and
I heard that he also
re-
had to gain a couple of weight just to
he had to
make it.
gain. He broke the record. He still holds this record till today. He gained 70 pounds for
70
this
pounds,
role.
yeah.
70,
Wow.
breaking Robert De Niro's record in Raging Bull. De Niro gained 60 pounds. And that record has still not been broken today. Vincent D'Onofrio has
Not
gained the
even
most weight.
With Jonah Hill with like War Dogs?
No,
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 that's
because
just-
Jonah
that's
Hill
just
was
him.
always a little big. Or,
I would say probably-
but like because Hill like has a history of going up and down.
yeah, no,
But
but
that's
no.
on
Even
him.
Jared Leto. Jared
No, I
Leto
would
too.
think Christian Bale for Cheney.
American Hustle.
What
Or
about
Cheney.
for
Or Cheney, or Cheney.
the whale?
No, that
No,
was
that was
prosthetics.
prosthetic.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
but
Anyways,
I've been asked that
yeah,
too,
but
dude.
as of 2020 at least, the record's still held by Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's crazy.
So yeah, 70 pounds, right?
And you know, obviously for the characters, so you can seem a little bit more vulnerable. You know that,
Yeah.
white-eyed kid.
But again, imagine having to study the Universal Classic monsters to get a very specific look for a very specific moment in this character's arc. I mean,
Yeah.
again, D'Onofrio is just fucking genius. And by the way,
He lost out by 10 pounds, guys.
No. Yeah, because I remember the episode where he's confessing to the priest.
who? Rob McElhenney. Who's this?
Yeah,
Oh,
for one
from-
season he gained like 50 pounds.
But he thought he was like, didn't his character think he was super buff or
He
something?
beat De Niro.
Well, supposedly he did it because they were all gonna hire avatars.
wait, what's the story there?
So he gained weight so his avatar could be buff.
Yeah, look at Jared Leto, man. I'm telling you, Jared Leto too. Anyways, yeah. So just that's kind of the story there, and you're right. This character goes through this. That's the commentary of the whole film, right? And what war does to people, and what even just basic training does to people, and hazing, and this culture of hazing in the
That's
military.
why Robert Lee, what's his last name? Robert E.
R. Lee Ermey.
It's Robert Lee, I would think, right?
I think, yeah, you're right. I think you're right. R. Lee. They just always refer to him as R. Lee.
I think he's just as important.
Ronald.
Ronald. R. Lee Ermey plays the great Sergeant Hartman. This is a very interesting character because, he
Yes.
is an actor and is well within his own right, but he was a drill sergeant in the military.
Yeah.
And Kubrick he didn't just cast him to be this very important role. Number one, he improvised 50% of his lines.
Really?
That was all him. That was all him.
I didn't know that.
And even like the lines that Kubrick wrote, he was like, tweak them, do whatever you got to do to them.
Kinda
Some stuff
whatever's
he would
rolling out, yeah.
hold true, other stuff he was just riffing. And in fact, the famous line of the whole, you're the type of person that would fuck somebody in the ass and not do the decency of giving them a reach around. Kubrick says, cut! What the hell's a reach around? And then R. Lee tells him the story. Tells it, it's this. So that's fucking great. Let's do it again. Keep the line in there. And then it's in the film. So 50% of his lines are improvised. He not only was brought in for that, but to authenticate the set building of this island.
Getting his take on it. Yeah.
Of the base camp.
Training.
It's something island. I forget the name of the island, but it's a real place where they do basic training for Marine Corps.
Oh yeah.
Something island
On the east side of
Maine?
no, lower. Carolina. I think it's
North
Carolina.
Carolina, yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
But anyway, so he brings them in to authenticate sets.
That's good.
Like sets, authenticate the dialogue, authenticate whether a drill sergeant would actually do this or not. Everything, just authenticate everything about this character. There's such a great story. Kubrick, the DP, and R. Lee were in the Jeep.
Paris Island.
Paris Island, Parris, Paris Island.
South Carolina.
They're driving around location scouting the Jeep, and Kubrick is so entranced with a specific location that his eyes stay there and the road's over here, and he doesn't pay attention, and they fall into a fucking ditch,
Right.
flip the car. And R. Lee tells stories about Kubrick getting out, everybody getting out of the car, everybody, okay. Yeah, so about the location. We're going to do this. Well, they just rolled a fucking Jeep. That's how Kubrick rolls.
I love it, man.
Quite literally. And then they
gotta stay
walk home.
focused.
Like that was just their scouting trip. And again, Ronald Lee was part of even just scouting. That's how important this individual was for the making of this picture.
I'm pretty sure like some people got hurt, right? This was a little bit more hands-on.
Hurt how? Like, they did. But like, you mean...
I don't know, not like a gunshot, but like, you know.
Well, like,
jumping
for
around.
instance, there's interesting stories as far as the making of. It did take a while. Matthew Modine, who plays Private Joker, D'Onofrio says that what's interesting about him is when they cast him, he was a single man. And during the making of this production, he got a girlfriend, got married, and had a kid. And that kid turned 1. All within the timeline of the making of Full Metal Jacket.
Shotgun wedding?
I don't know, but I mean, dude, it probably took 2-3 years to make this shit. So like,
Because they wanted to go with like, let's get you when you're young.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like when we
to an
return,
extent, to an extent, it's also more like logistic situations of building the sets. And for instance, what really delayed production a lot was R. Lee somehow lost control of his vehicle on his way home from work one day. It's like 1 a.m. Fucking crashes his car and breaks all his ribs on the left side of his body.
Damn it, he yells a lot.
And all of the scenes that were supposed to be shot after that, he was in every single one of them. So they had to stop production until he was better.
Yeah, because he has to yell without rib, with
So
a
they
broken
stopped
rib.
production, I think, for like 6 months just because
Wow.
of that. Just for him to heal and shit.
Oh
So
my God.
stuff like that delayed the production. And then obviously you see these big ass sets that they shot, most of them in London, believe it or not.
In
They
England,
shot
huh?
all the interiors in sound stages in Pinewood Studios in London, all the exteriors on the outskirts of London. That's why they use a lot of fog to hide the outskirts of London.
Magic.
And
baby.
there's stories about Kubrick walking outside. If there was ever sun in the exteriors, he wouldn't shoot.
Really?
That simple. It's like, sun's out, we're good. There's a very famous story before we get into ratings about Kubrick stopping production because there was a family of rabbits that were killed accidentally on the set. He lost his shit because he's an animal lover, or was an animal lover. He stopped production and canceled the scenes for that day. He was so distraught by the killing of these rabbits, this family of rabbits.
I'm with it.
So just a lot of those great
Was
stories
it
coming out of production.
like did somebody accidentally run him over? Or is
I
it
think
like,
I didn't read exactly what happened, but it was just like it was the production
Pretty
who
sure,
caused
man.
the
Look,
death.
That one take with a bunch of tanks just going in. I wonder how many takes that.
They donated 4 tanks.
4 tanks.
The head of the military base in the UK was like, "I love Kubrick. You can borrow my tanks. Go for it." And then the helicopters were released, and they just painted them green. But yeah, I mean, he had a better time than Coppola, I guess, in this scenario. Funny enough, the co-writer of Full Metal Jacket is the one who wrote all of the voiceovers for Apocalypse Now.
wow.
So very similar feels, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say extremely.
Yeah. So just lots about this film. But I guess we should get into ratings.
Well,
Mr.
Castro,
Castro.
who do you want to go first?
Who had seen it? Who hadn't seen it?
I've seen it.
You
I've never seen it.
Never seen it.
Let's go with Austin, and then we'll end with me.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey, I'm from
So-
Queens.
Was it your type of film? Was it your type of work
Deborah.
film?
I was waiting for that. Deborah.
Deborah. I'm Raymond. Everybody loves me.
I thought everybody loved you.
That's
Yeah.
what
I
I
don't
said.
like everyone likes Raymond, dude.
Nah?
Nah, it's
What
not
other
my cup.
impressions do you do?
Deborah.
My stupid brother Raymond. Always get into trouble.
That needs work.
Fine.
What about Kevin James? Is your favorite actor, isn't he?
Oh, man, that would be hard. He has this like very fidgety kind of.
Just imagine the best way I think I could give you is you're getting mad at Carrie
You getting mad at Carrie?
or Arthur. Damn it, Arthur.
Jeez.
Nah, I can't.
Nah.
All right, ratings.
8.4.
All right.
You see that door? Right there, bro?
Okay.
Thank you all for tuning into the WatchTower podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. And
Love you with that 8.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
No, why Nick? Seen it before? It's too.
I've never seen it.
No, but like this.
First time, long time.
First time. Long
We love
time.
you, long time.
Because I know like
Me so
Platoon,
funny.
the one that we just watched.
Come and see.
Which one? No, but the other one. It was Platoon and.
Apocalypse Now.
I
Apocalypse
was
Now.
a little disappointed that, unless I missed somewhere,
No, yeah.
that it didn't end with like Cowboy like reading from a book that he wrote or an article that he wrote
Cowboy.
Oh, you would have loved that.
or a Joker. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it felt like it was leaning towards with all the different voiceovers.
Like he was gonna be like.
But
This
he was
this
also
is-
very much falling out of love. I mean, you remember the scene at the table where the head of the newspaper, the Stars and Stripes, is like, we have two stories here: the one of the hero or the one of the.
Well, that's what
you
I'm
know.
saying. I was expecting it to be like him like releasing a book or something about his time or something like that. Just other than that, then the voiceovers are kind of
threw you off.
because there wasn't any kind of closure with him, if that makes sense.
I think that's the
goes
point,
into, Yeah,
though. Yeah, I
exactly.
think
the
that's the
confusion
point.
of they didn't even know where to go. They had to redirect. You know, the confusion of it.
I think what's interesting about something like this, and then you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's a very good observation, but I think what's interesting about something like this is that most war pictures, especially if they're positive, pro-war, patriotic, whatever you want, there's a central hero. You know, and in these scenarios, it's about them getting lost in the crowd. It's about them being one more number, them not
Is
standing
that,
out.
is that why you thought it was like a propaganda for?
No, I didn't think that. I think it falls very much in the very,
Kinda like gray space
very
or-
thin line of it could fall on either side of it being an anti-war film or helping. Not. I know this is gonna sound kind of fucked up, but it almost highlights some of the better parts of joining something like the Marine Corps.
Whoa.
So
We got the
not in the fighting sense, but the camaraderie, the family part of it.
That's where I agree with
I
you.
didn't get
but
a
that's
sense
not
of camaraderie.
enough.
I didn't get a sense of
That-
camaraderie
What do you mean?
other than between him and Cowboy, between Joker and Cowboy.
Well, at the beginning with Joker and D'Onofrio's
He
character.
fucking hated him. He beat him to shit with a
No, dude, he
pillowcase.
didn't hate him. Dude, you saw the hesitation.
yeah.
He didn't want to hit him.
But he did.
No, but he
He
was
had
like,
to
no,
because
he
everybody
didn't
else
have
was doing
to.
it. Yes, he did.
chose to because he's
Yeah,
fucking
no.
pissed at him that he's fucking it up for
dude.
everybody.
No,
Yeah.
no. There was a hesitation, and even when
There was a
D'Onofrio-
So
hesitation.
he did it because everybody was gonna hit him if he didn't hit him.
Yes.
No.
No.
Dude, even Cowboy was like, dude, hit him, and you can see that Joker at the moment was like,
He
for
hesitates. You're
sure.
right. There's
He
a
hesitates.
hesitation, but I don't think
Hesitation,
it's
but-
because he's being peer pressured into it.
No,
I
I
think it's
definitely
because
think-
like.
He's
Is
had
this
enough.
is this the right thing to do? I'm also
Yeah.
like I'm building a friendship with this guy, but at the same time, this motherfucker doesn't listen. Like he's fucking it up for everybody. It's proven time and time again that Joker doesn't have a moral compass. He doesn't give a fuck. His nickname came from not giving a fuck. And then even then, he doesn't grow as a character. He doesn't
yeah,
give a
he
shit.
does, he
Well,
does
he
grow.
does. He has a
Yeah,
good
he
arc.
grows.
He has a great arc.
Dude, he has a moral compass at the
He's a
end.
good
No,
arc.
what-
Yeah,
no,
like a
because he asks himself, is he going to shoot this sniper? No. Who
Yes.
cares?
Anybody with the
He
moral
finally-
compass will...
He's finally at the end. He's finally the soldier that he became. That they trained him for.
Yeah.
At the beginning,
He's
he was.
fighting the soldier that they trade him for?
No, he's
No.
finally
He
the soldier.
finally became the soldier that they trained him for.
I
Whereas
don't know.
at
I
first he
don't.
was.
I don't know that he goes through any type of change. He's,
Dude, anybody with the moral
he-
compass ends that sniper's life right there instead of leaving him to suffer.
Oh, that's good.
because she's asking him to kill him.
Instead of leaving them there suffering.
Is that the morally correct decision?
Of what?
Of taking somebody's life.
Yeah, like
It
treating.
is. Because at the end of the day, bare bones, they might suffer for 8 days. Rats are going to come in. She's just going to suffer more. The
No,
morally
but-
thing is, he's a goner. She's a goner. The
It's like
morally
when-
thing is, end it there.
I know.
There's
No
no point.
I know this is not messed up, but it's like when you go hunting and
Exactly.
you shoot a deer that
Or
isn't
you
fully
hit a deer in
dead.
the road.
No, I understand.
I think
just,
the difference.
It's putting it out of its misery, and the moral
Exactly.
compass
Like-
is doing it.
When you look at like All Quiet on the Western Front, that has a very similar scene where they fall into the trench, that little like hole, and they fight each other. And then once the main character like stabs them and they're gonna die, and he feels this sense of victory, like I got him, but then they're still alive and they're suffering, and then immediately he snaps. And he's like, oh, it's a person. And they're suffering, and then he tries to like revert back. And at first he's like, "Oh, do I just kill you and put you out of your misery?"
That's your training.
Yeah,
right? That's where your
like, do I kill you and put you out of your
misery?
misery? But then he's like, no, and then he's trying to like help them and give them water, and he's trying to like take care of them. And I feel like,
But there's a point where it's like we both.
Well, but there's also rules of combat, right? That's believe it or not, taken very, and I say it in quotations, very seriously among military culture. I think what's the guy's name? Earth Mother, or what the fuck was his name?
Mother,
Mother.
I forget the first one.
Yeah.
That character is everything
like
that's
an
wrong.
animal lover.
Animal lover. Animal mother.
Animal mother.
Right. That character's what everything that's wrong with military culture.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's kind of where you're coming from.
yeah. But at the same time, he almost like teases Joker, like, fine, fucking kill her.
No, but here's the thing. They all know that if they leave her, nobody's going to find her. It's a form of torture to leave her alive.
It's an eye for an eye thing, right?
Exactly.
That's
to
how
me,
this
it's not
character.
torture. It's like, yo,
Dude,
you
how's
killed
it
three-
not torture?
Yeah, for sure. But the bare bones
You're
for sure.
leaving her there. She's going to die.
I'm talking more.
Like,
I'm talking like, yo, man, you just killed
You
my
know
three
she's going
friends.
to die. Nobody's ever going to find
No,
her there.
both of you are right. I
Yeah.
just don't think
I
that
don't
Joker
care.
undergoes this massive change for it to
It's
for
not
it
massive,
for it to
but-
be a focus on him, for it to be a draw on him, on his character. I think he's just one of the aspects of war that people aren't paying attention to, right? And how you change as a person. But I don't think. I mean, it's very clear. He says it himself in all the voiceovers, and then he says it himself at the beginning. He's like, "I joined because I wanted to kill. I'm a killer, right? I'm a killer. This whole bullshit." And he's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to write." And I kind of and they ask him in the interview portions. I just wanted to see culture.
I got a
just
mic
wanted to
drop.
be out here to see culture and to talk to people of different cultures and a fascinating take on life. You know,
Here's where it's gonna kind of make sense. He has the helmet,
Born to Kill.
and then he's got the
The duality. Right.
the duality.
Which
Bam, there we go.
Which
Let's
he
talk about that.
comments on. Which he comments on. And by the way, when he's killing the sniper, he turns in the way that the peace symbol's hidden.
Exactly.
You know, that's very intentional.
Exactly.
He turns in the way that when he's going to make his choice, you see his helmet very clearly. You see the peace sign starting to be hidden by his uniform. Very intentional. It's very intentional.
You can see that he did have an arc. He was conflicted with the duality of like, yo,
I don't think we should be throwing around the term arc so easily.
I agree.
Because
It's not a major one, but he does have a change.
he has a change.
I don't always think that one moment defines an arc for a character. And that's the only moment that Joker really
because
has any sense of
duality.
other than the
Challenge,
voiceover,
conflict.
like he does kind of fade into the background, especially during that first third of the film.
And he's supposed to.
And yeah, and he really does because even when he's like helping out, what's his name? Pyle.
He
When
doesn't give a shit. He's doing it begrudgingly. He's doing it like, all right, dude, hurry the fuck
No,
up.
but that's
Just
No,
like,
but he starts caring about him, though.
Yeah, he slowly.
But then
starts
Like,
after
he
caring.
starts telling Cowboy, like, hey, dude, it's talking to his gun. I think it's going to be a Section A. Like, he starts worrying about him.
Yeah.
Cowboy's his boy.
Yes.
Cowboy's the one that he's like, yeah, this motherfucker's crazy.
Yes,
Like,
but he still cares about Pyle, dude.
I don't think he does. I don't think Joker cares about anything except himself. I don't think that and Cowboy.
I disagree, but
I don't think he cares. I didn't see any care in Joker's character. I just saw him like being part of the ride. He's not as bad as Animal Mother.
no,
He's
no, obviously not.
right. He's not as bad as that, and definitely not as bad as the Sergeant. But I don't know that. I think Joker's character is just Kubrick's attempt to use a Dante, right, to show us the journey. I don't think his character mattered much. I think blending into the background is exactly that.
I agree with you completely, only because these war journalists, I mean, that's kind of their job. They're like the whole idea is that they're supposed to be the perspective of the war, and then Kubrick's commentary on even that this allegedly neutral observer of what's going on
Yep.
and reporting back for the sake of like journalistic neutrality, even that's covered up by this whole
Neutrality,
thing of like, oh, like they're part of the Stars and Stripes. How could the Stars and Stripes be anything neutral?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like it's that he's a vessel for the
Yeah, he's a
audience
vessel.
to be able
It's
to
great.
attach themselves, because even
You don't attach yourself to Joker. You attach yourself to the story. You attach yourself to this world, right?
But even like in the moments where like Joker has to hit him, his hesitation is almost like the audience's, where it's like, no, you see Pyle as like,
you have sympathy and
you
empathy
have
for
empathy
him.
for Pyle.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like, even when Pyle's like, I just keep messing up and I don't know what's wrong, and it's like, oh well, you'll get it eventually. And I mean, I think that's the way the whole audience feels. Like, well, you're there.
Yeah,
it's
just make the
training.
best of it,
It's,
this and
yeah, just you'll get it. You'll pick it up.
I'll talk a little bit too, just on the cinematography for that moment. The opening of the film, right, in the barracks, right, as we're going in this kind of U shape for each of the privates, right, they invented a lens
Really?
for this so that every single person has the same amount of focus in the lens.
Oh,
Really?
That never, at least in this scale, existed before. And movement, right? You guys know we pull focus as we move for specific situations. Now, Kubrick wanted the focus to be the exact same for every single soldier as we move in the room, to show that no one is more important than the other. They're all fucking dirt
man,
at this point.
that's a genius, bro.
And that's exactly this,
This is
right?
exactly.
It's exactly this. Again, I think even Pyle was a vessel. I think even Pyle was a vessel to stick it a little harder about this commentary on war and the military and the hazing nature that exists in the military. I think you're right. I think like you talk about a fraternity, right? And the hazing nature and something like that. All those motherfuckers, when they're 40 at some dinner party, remember the days and when they were pledging this fraternity.
Right.
But they had to run around with their dick in their hands and on campus for 40 minutes and be embarrassed and all this shit just to get by. I think there does create a fraternity naturally. The military does create a fraternity for life, if you will. But I don't think the point of this film was, if that was its intention, I don't think it succeeded that well.
That's why I say
It borders on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. 8 point what? 4.
I'll go to me before, because that said a lot. I'll give it an 8.8.
8.8.
Just for the fact that I'm a big Stanley fan, and I think this one, what I love about this film is he doesn't glorify violence.
Oh, that's interesting.
He more shows us the process of how it is to turn a civilian into a soldier. And
Yeah.
that's why I like
for
I
sure.
like Lee's character,
For sure.
because that's the whole system of the military, right? There's like no bullshit. We got to strict you up.
Yeah, we got to thicken you up.
We gotta thicken you up
harden
and-
you up. Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it was brilliant the way he did it. Perfect casting with this guy.
Yeah. To your point, what's interesting is if you really think about it, there's only 3 characters that have any sense of a backstory in this film. Cowboys from Texas. Joker wrote for his high school paper.
Right.
And one of the soldiers said that they played for Notre Dame. That's it. And the intention with that is their life before the military doesn't exist. This is their identity now.
Hey.
All of that before basic training doesn't matter. Their life didn't exist until now. It's what you're saying, right? It's turning these individuals into these carbon copy militaristic individuals who don't have a past. Their future starts here. And isn't that what all the propaganda for joining the military is?
Exactly.
Like.
But then you can't like weed out the Pyle people, right? That they're just not mentally prepared for this type of training. And I like how it goes deep into this one that this is PTSD. Like you don't even have to go to war.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's kind of like weeding out the bad, like the weak ones. So I just think like every character, like you said, every main character had a really pivotal point to this film. If that makes any sense.
Collectively, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
So 8.8?
8.8.
8.8.
I really like
Who do you want? Me?
All right, in the boxing ring, 1-on-1, he wants you.
We do it anywhere, baby. They don't have to be a boxing ring.
Or pickleball court.
Pickleball
Yeah.
court.
I love Kubrick. This is
You can't
one
do
of my
no wrong, man.
was one of my top 3 of his.
Not even The Shining.
Oh, he could do wrong.
Oh, he could do no wrong.
But I'm okay with putting this somewhere in the lower 8s, maybe an 8, maybe a flat 8.
Now you think because we just watched
Come and see.
I
I think it's partly that. I
Yeah.
think it's because Full Metal Jacket had such a big impact on me in war pictures before. Like, I always loved this film. Like, and then, I got into a weird kick at one point when I saw Full Metal Jacket. I immediately saw Platoon after. And I immediately saw, just kind of kept it going. And,
Yeah.
obviously Saving Private Ryan and a lot of these films. But Full Metal Jacket was up there for me on the realism and the commentary on war. And I always loved it for those reasons. But then Come and See comes along and says, no. we're gonna get into some shit, and we're
Yeah,
gonna do
I
it so
agree.
cinematically. Full Metal Jacket is great at doing that as well, very well. It does it extremely well. But again, I guess I've seen Kubrick do better. Clockwork Orange and 2001: A Space Odyssey are just fucking mind-boggling.
But aren't you amazed that
This one's in a vacuum. And that's what all genre pictures do. I think war films are genres. I think war films are a genre picture. And just like a lot of them can be horror films, right? But I think in this vacuum, it's great. But something like Clockwork Orange and 2001 are just so out here and encompass so much territory that you can talk about it for a million years and you will never stop talking about it. I think Full Metal Jacket stays in this pocket, which is fine. So again, I just think Kubrick has done it better.
I disagree. I think it's just because, over the years we've been spoiled. I think, at the time it was perfect.
We've been spoiled with war films?
Yeah.
With good war films? No, I'm just talking cinema in general.
Well, you're saying that it's stuck in his pocket of,
in
this
the
war.
vacuum, it's here, right?
But that's where it came from, all the,
Like all war films after? No, that's fine. Again, but that's still in the war vacuum.
But it's the one that started it, man.
Let me put it to you this way. If I have a conversation with you guys about Come and See, just as a piece of cinema, it crawls out of the pocket of war.
Okay, I'll take that.
I don't think Full Metal Jacket does. You know what I'm saying? I think Full Metal Jacket is at the top of the tier when it comes to war pictures, but Come and See maybe arguably is cinema. That makes a little more sense. Not that Full Metal Jacket isn't. It's a weird territory. My point is, I think Kubrick has done better. I think other Kubrick films have blown my mind substantially more. And again, I think it's that, to an extent, it's a mini Walter Mitty effect for me, because I love this picture growing up. Like, I've seen it a million times, and I always Full Metal Jacket's the shit, and there's so much, and now it's like it's amazing, but it's not Come and See. Come and See blew my fucking mind, man. So yeah, just that's where I'm at with it. I'll give it a flat 8 on my end.
Flat 8. That's all right. Forgive you.
I was battling with a 7.5, if not 7.
Whoa.
But I also know that there's other films that, again, are using the cinematic techniques, and they're using a lot of things that were inspired by Kubrick.
Yeah.
And to give credit to the fact that I also think that nobody can do what Kubrick did, as far as like a war film that uses a lot of these cinematic elements and metaphorical commentary to really penetrate your own value system when it comes to your thoughts of the military.
Nice.
I'll leave it right now at an 8.2. Because I do see a lot of merit in it. I think the only reason I wanted to go lower is because we saw things like Come and See or Apocalypse Now, that those ones, like talk about Apocalypse Now leaving you like where they keep talking about like, we're in the shit. And like that one, you feel like you're in the shit for a lot longer, and you also feel like you're seeing multiple facets of the worst in humanity, and all of it is attributed to the military pushing them to say, oh, go out there and fight for America. And then once they leave them out there, they're like, what the fuck are we even fighting for? Like, what is this? And I remember
all the interview sequence of this fucking picture.
And those are
too,
great moments. I love the pacing.
Yeah,
I love even the interview setups, like I was thinking, like it's really funny how they don't show the like to me, I was like, if you look at the framing, they're the perfect interview framings, but then you'll see off to the corner is the camera, and I don't know, my own little like cameraman brain was thinking like, I bet he's getting a shit angle because this is the angle right here. Like those moments do speak volumes, and they had this wonderful balance of like, we're gonna hit you with the violence, but then we're also gonna hit you with these lulls. And then what do the lulls mean? Like
the animal mother character. They're like, well, what do you think this war's about? So I don't know, but I know we got to win it. You know, it's like, they're great moments.
No, they ask him like, what are your thoughts on America's involvement? And he's like, we got to win. like a football player, or like I forgot what the guy who died that made Cowboy the leader, but that character where he was like, hey, you're a photographer, come take a photo of this, and they're sitting next to like a dead Vietnamese person, and they're like, yeah, it's
this
his
is my
birthday.
buddy, it's his birthday.
And this party's for him, and that whole thing of like their minds just so mushed up at this point. They're out of basic training, and now they're just in this weird hellscape, and all of them have this very like super misconstrued idea of what human life is worth and all this kind of stuff. And I think
and I love that. That's why the button comes up and pops up in a lot of different areas of the film. The first one being even with his own drill sergeant, and he's asking, what the fuck is the point of that? And then it goes, and then he gets to the other when they have the mass grave scene, right? And now somebody outside of basic training is getting and chewing his ass out about the same button, and it's like tattoos, man. Like it's this piece of yourself that you never want to let go of.
Well, he doesn't have it in basic. It's when he's in the Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you're right. That commander, but again, a controlled, safer scenario, and then a commander who isn't quite his own, getting on his ass about it. Like it keeps popping up to make this commentary on like identity and why are you fighting and do you believe in what you're fighting and
By the way, in that same mass grave scene when they're talking to the lieutenant and he's like answering a question to a Joker and then he'll smile for the camera.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's so great.
And then if you look if you look at the answer, like I love the dialogue. I think the dialogue is probably one of the best elements of this film.
Yeah.
Because it's always juxtaposing their physical appearance. Yeah. Like with that moment with the mass grave scene, it's like, oh, so what's the body count? And
we think it's 20.
No. But that question was very much like, how many of the bad guys did we get? Yeah. But then when he says, oh,
what's
we got
a score?
Yeah, it was kind of like, a couple of school teachers and shopkeepers, and like they describe people with like normal occupation. They smile. It's kind of like, we got that bookie.
But again, the same two stories in this newspaper.
Yeah,
it's a moment that's gonna be the final kill and end the war and be the heroes, or what was the other one? The other story.
A sergeant going down in honor.
A sergeant going down in honor. That's it. I love like Austin's saying, this ability to switch, to completely code switch, to be talking about something so macabre, and
and then just
smiling for the cameras. That's war in a nutshell.
War in a nutshell.
That's presidency in a nutshell.
Also,
the mentality,
and I don't know how else to describe it, but
the mental state.
That 70s show camera shot. Where like whenever anybody dies, they're always circled around the body, and then it always like goes like person to person, like better them than me.
Yeah,
and it's dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on, and then the next person's like, better take a picture. Like they all have these different ideas, or like, hey, at least, what did he say? I don't. It wasn't Cowboy, but he said like, oh well. At least he's fighting for freedom or something.
Yeah,
what
is it? No, at least he went down fighting for the right cause. It's like, what cause?
Yeah, what's the right
freedom?
Cause?
It's so good.
Or
it's
like,
so good.
oh man, I can't believe they'd rather be alive than free.
Yeah,
like
that one,
and then it's like, what a bunch of idiots. And
there's
it's like,
there's one character. And he probably only has that's a single line in the film. But they interview one of the characters. He's one of the black soldiers, and he says, don't these people know that we're dying for them? We're fighting for them. They're not appreciative. And it's like, you're killing them. What do you mean? You came to their country and fucked it all up. So what are the
Yeah.
What are you doing? Liberating them from communism? Okay, I guess, sort of, not really,
Yeah.
but it's interesting.
It's really good, and I feel like again Kubrick can do no wrong in the sense that
Yeah.
he knows what vision he wants, and he also knows
Preach, brother.
how to use these cinematic elements to create the most impact when it comes to the metaphors he's sharing.
I don't
Because
know that he also tosses the cinematic elements out the window, especially in the first act. There's nothing extraordinary about the shots in the first act.
Everything's just lit.
Everything's just lit, flat, and clean.
no, I think that's a
And then the
pristine.
second act is a little bit darker.
Well, not just darker, but there's more camera movement. There's more explosion. There's more,
Oh, I was chewing over. I'm gonna say with relative confidence, but the first half of the movie, I want to say, is done with a lot of wide-angle lenses.
Yeah.
and that's to give you a scale of or a sense of scale of this big training base, because we're always seeing people training in the background and all these people, but they're all meant to be looking like they're just one and the same.
Yeah.
Compared to towards the end when they're put face to face with like, oh, you're not training
Danger.
anymore. Now it's like there's people shooting at you. I'm pretty sure most of that they like locked it off to like 50 millimeter because it was these really interesting perspectives. They're low angles, obviously, that are Steadicam tracking them as they're like walking into the cities. And oh my God, I love those shots.
Yeah.
But I think everything was kept 50 millimeter.
Sure.
And I'm only going to say that because of the compression. And if you don't know what that is, that's just the relation to scale of the people and the
Spherical.
background. Yeah, like when you do wider angle lenses,
Yeah.
people in the foreground will usually look bigger and things in the background will look smaller. But when you look at those shots, especially toward the end of the film, they look smaller than the background. The background looks like these big buildings, and it shows you just how small they are in the whole scale.
Very cool, happy accident about that. I don't know if you can pull it up, Austin, but the minute that cowboy dies, just search Monolith Full Metal Jacket.
Monolith.
You guys remember the word monolith
Yeah.
from 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
Um,
What is it? Low Easter egg?
Do you just see it in the background?
let's watch. Let's see if we find just a picture of it. Yeah.
No, no. I love him, dude. I love this
No,
dude. Is it?
Q.
Is it?
Everybody's like, because this is the film he did immediately after 2001: Space
Is it
Odyssey.
though?
No, it was Clockwork Orange. I'm sorry, this is later. But they're like, oh shit, he did this Easter egg, and yeah, Kubrick did. And Kubrick's like, dude, no fucking idea until I saw the dailies.
Yeah,
that that's what
yeah.
we're looking at.
I can
He
see
was
that.
complete happy accident that the monolith is in the set design of
Wow.
of Full Metal Jacket. But
But it's a
but again,
coincidence.
scale, range.
See,
where
I love
we
that
at in
he's
this,
truthful about it.
Yeah,
He
no,
just be
he
like,
was
"Oh,
being,
yeah.
he's trying to be an asshole, like,
Look
yeah.
at-
So
look
the
at the
fucking
master,
monolith
bro.
makes a bit of a happy accident appearance in Full Metal Jacket, but
It's really good.
but it's really good.
Here's,
I mean,
here's an interesting question.
yeah.
What's with the title?
Oh, that's a great. It's my favorite
Full
thing
Metal
about this
Jacket.
film. I didn't learn about it till today because I was reading
Yeah, I was
about
reading
it.
about it. And I still don't know. It's
Oh my
about
goodness! It's my favorite thing about that. Anybody else know? Like,
No.
does anybody
any
get
idea?
it?
The law, I would think you would kind of have an idea.
I mean,
Like,
all
why
I
it's
know.
called that,
Why
or-
it's called Full Metal Jacket?
Well, all I know is just like Private Pile brings it up about the casings of the shells that
Yeah.
are going into the gun.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
All I can think of is the idea that each of those shells are like meant to kill, but they're all one and the same, and bullets in a line being
Well,
No.
a
Let's
parallel.
back. No, you're halfway there. Let's back up a touch. This film is based on a novel called The Short Timers by Gustav Hasford, and
Such cool names.
The Short Timers it's almost beat by beat, same titles, same characters, but Kubrick was afraid that if this film was going to be called The Short Timers, that people weren't going to get it. They were going to get that this was a war picture.
Short Timers.
That Short Timers just sounds like somebody half-assing a job.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really going to click with people. So
Good call.
he was reading in a gun about these new bullets, Full Metal Jackets, right? FMJ ammunition. So to get technical, and I'll just read it from the
I was trying to
IMDb. FMJ ammunition has a copper coating covering the lead the lead core rather of its projectile. Under the Geneva Convention, only FMJ bullets can be used by military personnel because while still very deadly, they're more likely to pass through a person without greatly expanding or breaking up than other types of bullets. Hollow point, unjacket, soft lead bullets, whatever. And thus causing less damage. Thus, the title is a subtle commentary on the absurdity of trying to make civilized rules for warfare.
Oh, wow.
It's like, really, you're gonna say in the Geneva Convention, we can only use these bullets because they'll make the less damage while they're fucking killing somebody.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
I was trying to
That's
make
why
sense of it,
Full
but I
Metal
couldn't.
Jacket is called Full Metal Jacket because
makes
that's
sense.
Kubrick saying, this is fucking stupid. These bullets, because they cause the less amount of damage as they're penetrating somebody's heart to end their life. It doesn't.
I love it.
It's war in a nutshell.
Yeah, exactly.
Of trying to make rules of the rules of combat.
Yeah.
The rules of combat. It's just the dumbest thing in the world. You're gonna kill somebody and you're gonna take their lives, but we're still gonna be gentlemen. It's just that's the commentary. That's why Full Metal
Wow.
Jacket is called Full Metal Jacket.
Oh my God.
It's my favorite fucking thing about this.
Yeah,
thing.
that is cool.
Yeah. Quite a few people were in line to be cast for the role of both R. Lee and
Who was gonna play Lee?
they were out to a few people. They were out to a few people. Again, mostly character actors, and I'm sorry, I don't really know their name.
Yeah.
But Mr. Anthony Michael Hall,
Anthony Michael Hall.
who you guys may know from 16 Candles and
Oh, yeah.
The Breakfast Club and
The guy, right?
the kid.
Yeah. He did the where he could predict the future in a TV series.
He was going to be playing Joker. There you go.
Oh.
Anthony
I
Michael
wanna-
Hall was originally set to play Private Joker. Stanley Kubrick had seen 16 Candles, and they just couldn't negotiate on the schedule and the salary.
I could see that.
That's what it was. Yeah, that would have been
I could
interesting,
definitely see
right?
it. I like him.
Yeah, I dig him too. I think Anthony Michael Hall is good. Yeah, there's quite a few people. It was offered to Bruce Willis.
Really?
Bruce Willis turned it down because he was doing like 6 episodes of a show of Moonlighting.
It would have been too overshadowed by him.
Well, he wasn't Bruce Willis at the time.
No, but he has the physique, like not the physical physique,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just the
Yeah,
face,
and
even like his
the
jawline.
careless face, the careless
What year
situation.
was this?
This was 1987. 84.
And Bruce Willis
87?
hadn't popped
87.
off? It wasn't Bruce Willis.
I don't think so. Not yet. Die Hard was the
Star
first Die Hard.
Running Man. That's
That's when
crazy.
Bruce Willis became Bruce
Look at
Willis.
that. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Aw.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to play
89
Animal
probably?
Mother.
88.
88.
That would have
88.
been weird.
Yeah. You see, Bruce Willis didn't become Bruce Willis till Die Hard. That was 88. This is
Aren't they
87.
currently filming the Running Man remake right now?
I didn't know. Yeah.
With Glenn Powell?
Oh, shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What I know is that Glenn Powell just got cast in Nolan's new picture.
Yep.
Yeah. Arnold
Take that, Wes Anderson.
Oh.
All right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger
Alright.
turned down the role of Animal Mother to do the Running Man.
Nah, see, it would have been too overshadowed.
Yeah, for
no,
sure.
no.
Yeah,
wouldn't
because
have.
you need
He's
people.
playing an American.
Civilians.
Yeah.
And you need an American.
Yeah.
No, and then like
Imagine Arnold
Arnold.
Schwarzenegger doing an American accent.
You got
when
6
has
months
he
of
ever
training
done
before-
anything but the Arnold Schwarzenegger
I know,
accent?
it's like, dude, what side are you on?
He had 6 months of
What
vocal
side are
training.
you on?
What side are you on?
No,
we get to the
uh,
chopper.
That would have been perfect.
I
We
like
gotta get the sniper.
one of my favorite moments is Cowboy is there, and the first guy goes down, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
I've seen this before. We know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and the
was
fact
real.
That's Mike over here playing Fortnite.
no, because
Yeah, for sure.
Michael, this happens every night.
no,
We'll
no,
be
but
like, all right, dude, they're on the left side. Just hold on. Oh, I'm fighting this team on the right. I'm going.
that's Carlos. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no.
Every time I hear both of you guys, I'm usually like there, like collecting wood, being like, "I'm gonna build a nice little house," and then you guys are just like, "I'm dying."
Bullshit. You're always down because you're like on the other side of the map somewhere, sneaking off and like.
No,
I
you
sneak
guys
off.
abandoned me.
Dude, you
I
have
sneak-
ADHD in the game, bro. You're like, oh,
Nah.
what is
Anyway,
that?
but
Get
I'm
back.
sorry, you were saying
No,
like
I like to me,
Cowboys sitting there and
my favorite sequence is just when they're all like there behind a safe area.
yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, we might have fucked up on the map, but let's just wait it out a little bit, check that everything's good, like take it slowly, and then if it's good, we'll push forward. And they're trying to be like tactical and all that.
Yeah.
But in this war where you're just getting all these men that are like hopped up and ready to kill, that's just not an option.
Fuck
and
that, you don't leave him to die, I
exactly.
gotta go.
I was like that watching. I was like, no, you can't leave him.
No, and I mean, honestly, it's like at that point, it's like, well, we know that area is dangerous. Let's not go there. And people just keep on charging in, and it's
And
like,
then-
oh,
and
well,
Cowboy
damn.
says, like, I've seen this before.
We're
They're
gonna
just
get
trying to
ambushed.
lure us one by
Yeah.
one. Don't fucking do it.
And
Wait
what
for
do they
tank
do?
support. One by one. Go fuck off. We were talking about how they're very reminiscent of the sniper scene in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet Kubrick had something to say about this. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, Spielberg had something to say about this.
Never seen it.
Huh? You ever seen Saving Private Ryan?
No, I've only seen like the beach scene,
It's all right.
the opening.
I love it, dude. I think it's terrific.
It's a good story. It's not like, but it's a good story.
But I know it's like based off a true story, right?
It is.
It
yeah.
is.
Well, it's based off a principle in the military that still has existed to this day.
No,
It's
but
better
I've
than
heard that.
1917.
Okay, fine. Jeez, I'm not
Fun
like
fact, we were gonna pick Saving Private Ryan, but I ended up going with Apocalypse Now. But I would have gladly talked to Saving Private Ryan. I think it's a great film. Fun fact about the character, the first character that is sent off to see if this is clear, 8 Ball.
8 Ball.
Do they call him that because he's white on the inside?
No, I don't think so.
I thought because
Maybe just because he's coked up. I would
no, it's
think.
the 8 Ball. It's a black ball.
Oh, that's true.
What the fuck?
That's true.
No, but like I
That's,
mean,
that felt very simple to me. It felt
Me
like
too, but I was like,
no, you're right. Anyways, 8 Ball was gonna be played by none other than the great Denzel Washington
oh
himself.
wow.
And
Was it Denzel? No, I'm trying to think Denzel back then. It was Denzel?
I don't, not quite.
No.
Almost there. No, because when was Goodfellas? Goodfellas was his first major role. No, that was Sam Jackson. I'm sorry. When was Denzel's first like breakthrough? What was Denzel? What would you guys see?
Malcolm
Malcolm
X? No, Malcolm X?
No, anything Spike Lee well, he did Malcolm X. He did Mo Better Blues.
Mo Better. Damn, I'm trying to go back more. See, if it wasn't Denzel, okay, it's a good pick. But if it's Denzel, no, because we need civilians.
Glory was his big one. Glory was a big one, and there was a war picture too.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
Glory, I would say is probably his breakthrough.
Yeah.
Glory was a big one. So, anyways, Denzel went into audition. Didn't quote unquote have time to read the script before the audition, and that's why I didn't get the role. And he's like, this is my biggest regrets in my fucking life that I didn't read the script to go into the audition. He got handed the script.
You know, he probably would have been good. If it's not
Probably would have
Denzel,
been good,
yeah,
but
he
I
would have been
actually
good.
really liked the actor who played 8 Ball.
Yeah,
he
he was
gave
good.
it some grit and some authenticity to it. I
Yeah.
really like that character.
And I can't help to think, but obviously, when he's getting shot in slow motion, Tropic Thunder is that?
Oh, yeah.
I
I would bet so.
That's a interesting point to talk about too.
Yeah.
A lot of the actions and everything happens really fast, but that's probably one of the few moments that does slow down, and we're given a perspective that they're not given. How do I phrase this? It's so interesting that even though the characters who are behind like the safety don't really know what's going on because of how far back they are, and you see in the shot they're like a good 100 yards away
Yeah.
from where all this action and everything's going on,
Yeah.
and where they're being shot and everything. They can't see them clear, but then every time a shot's fired, the audience gets this zoomed in personal perspective
Yeah.
of like it hits their arm or hits their leg
Yeah,
and all
for
that
sure.
kind of stuff. Do you feel like that's just meant to be a commentary on like almost like what they're imagining and the pain and all that? Like it's trying to help you connect to like the mentality before they shoot and
I
everything?
think it's a sense of desperation because of how far you are. That you can't do anything about it. Like they really are stuck in the place of like if we go, we die. If we stay, we're in danger.
But the close-ups.
The close-ups themselves, like the agony and what they're feeling.
I feel like that's like almost more metaphorical, like because they didn't know what that looked like. They didn't know where they're getting hit and all that. They're just like, oh, they're being shot at. So I almost wonder if that's supposed to be more of a, this is to help you connect with what they're seeing or thinking personally.
Oh, okay, maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't quite analyze that. I mean, it could be. I took it more, I guess, direct of like each shot from the sniper is just picking at them. You know, it's not trying to kill; it's trying to lure. You know, and that's her
true.
intention. It's each shot is like, got the foot, got the arm, come and get your boy. He's not dead. Come and get your boy. And
Yeah,
again, fucking Cowboys like they're wasted. We wait. They're dead. We can't save them.
It's an ambush.
It's an
a clear-
ambush.
It's a
We
clear
can't
ambush.
save them. They're they're wasted, and then the guy goes and he says, "Hey, they're wasted." Like when he yells
and
back.
boom.
So I think the close-ups are more just to like
'Cause they're for
to
the
add,
audience.
Add the ticking of the time bomb. Add the like, all right,
The
this
tension.
is, the tension, just to raise the tension stakes.
Yeah.
That's how I took it, but it could very well be like, shit, what's going on over there?
Yeah, because every time like they just hear a shot and they start firing randomly, and then you even hear like, oh, it's just one sniper. But even that like tension of like, we don't know, like
Yeah.
we can't see anything. It could be-
I took it. That's why I think it's a desperation thing. It's like we're over here. Even
how to
like
take
you don't know if bullets are coming in or out.
yeah,
You know, like when they're shooting for cover, like you don't know how many people are in there. They
discover that it's just one.
deduce it's just one.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you see holes, you see bullet holes. You don't know who's causing them in or out. Like I don't know where it's coming from. So I think it's a desperation thing. I think it's a masterclass on suspense and desperation.
Close-ups.
I think it's pretty good. I will say an interesting thing about kind of the suffering aspect. You know how when they finally kill the sniper or when they finally capture her, she starts speaking in her. I think it's
starts-
actually in French, if
starts
I'm not
praying,
mistaken.
and then
Believe
she
it or not.
starts saying, "Shoot me."
Well, that's what Joker says, right?
True.
She's praying. The direct translation of what she was saying is she's basically saying, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not. We should probably look up the line, but she says, the pain, it's unbearable," or something like that.
Okay,
So
okay.
she's just saying like, the pain,
hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts.
This hurts. You know. Which again leads her to try to speak English to ask them to kill her, right? Because it's so unbearable.
Let's take
But-
a pause right here real quick. I'll skip you.
Yeah.
Would you kill her or leave her there?
Killer.
Would you kill her or leave her there?
Nah, I think the feeling I had is, and it's the
No judgment.
oh, not like it's the anti-war aspect. It's like
Yeah.
I would try to save her. Like I
The
yeah,
humanistic.
What?
the human like
Dude, they just
the
shot
way that
Austin and Carlos. She just shot Austin and Carlos. You're gonna try to revive her?
because in that moment, and that's what I've seen in other films.
I get it, right?
That's
Don't
not
fire
a
with fire.
target. I mean, I understand
Yeah,
the mentality in war, and I understand the mentality in the army and military and Marines and everything, which is enemy good. And if I see an enemy, shoot an enemy. And there's a great episode on Black Mirror where what they do is I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically a world overrun by what they call roaches, which are these big, nasty, alien-looking monsters.
Okay.
And
Sounds interesting.
the whole episode is that the military basically has implanted a chip into their soldiers that whenever they see the enemy, they look like these big monsters. They're like, yeah, no one wants to shoot a person. No one wants to kill women and children. And they're like, but if you see something that doesn't look like you and you can't even understand what it's saying, you'll shoot that thing. That thing's scary, you know? And that's what the whole indoctrination in military is trying to do, is just say like, oh, just make them sound awful and scary. Even the whole terminology, like calling them gooks or instead of like Vietnamese.
Yeah.
It's this whole like, what is everything we can offer these people so that way when they see them, they don't even look or feel human. And I think in those moments, and you see it in other films, it's like, oh, okay, they're not dead yet. But then when I look at them, it's exactly the thing I was going through a few minutes ago with like Cowboy. It's a person that has a wound. They're in pain. They're suffering. And I mean, at that moment, are they an enemy or are they just a human life that's going through that? And you know,
I'll go to another movie called Lone Survivor.
Yeah.
And it has,
Oh, yeah?
it has a pivotal point there where it's like, if we let this guy go, there's a chance they could come and survive, put medic in them, get better, and come after us.
Yeah.
And then they know how many we are. They know what our names are. So I'm thinking it just from animals in a rock. That if I leave this guy, he's gonna kill me.
no,
Because
yeah.
I just shot at him, he tried to shoot at me. It's like there's no, to me, there's no.
No, I mean, it's like,
humanistic. No.
It's like fighting with a bear. At a certain point in time, you might like be able to like hurt enough where the bear's limping and all that. But if you don't kill the bear's
Yeah,
still going to be
motherfucker-
trying to like
exactly.
go at
There's
you.
been stories of a tiger doing that.
Yeah, I've heard a few animals that I forgot what it was, but there's a certain animal that has been known that even when it's dying, it still tries to kill you.
That's his last.
Yeah.
That's his.
I think it's like a boar or something like that, where like even if they're like when you're hunting them, they're one of the hardest animals to hunt because as you're attacking it, it'll still try to like
Holy
hurt you.
shit.
Like even if it's like bleeding out and everything, it'll use every last bit of energy.
Wild boar.
Yeah.
Kid, take that guy down.
So you would try to save her.
Yeah.
You would? You
the way
really
that
would.
they were like trying to bandage up Cowboy, I feel like it'd be that like, well, what can we give her? Like, do we have anything? Like,
But that's the enemy. He just killed your best
again,
friend.
I think the
There's
whole
no-
the piece of the anti-war film is not
But okay, then,
is not enemy and like good guy. It is
The guys flying around in the plane on come and see.
like
that's why there's two parts. Killed your friend, and this motherfucker it could survive and still come and kill you.
yeah, but at that point, like they're just suffering. Like everybody's suffering. Like nobody's in a good place. Even like when you look at the commentary that they talk about these people and they're like, oh man, we're killing for them and we're dying for them. Like, why aren't they more appreciative? It's because all anybody really sees is people getting shot. Even like in when they were in the helicopter flying over to that base,
that was
and they're just shooting
Messed up.
like
just
farmers.
farmhands and shit. Like, yeah.
No, that's messed up.
Again, there's bad sides. To
Yeah,
both,
they're just shooting them, and to that, there's no like, oh, well, it's because each of them are bad guys. It's like no, they're scared
That's
people running away.
different. That's different.
No,
I get
but
what you're saying.
that's the thing. I feel like when you look at that person, and it's the way you want to look at it. The military will train you to see an enemy and train you to see that. Yeah.
Okay,
And
well,
that's what I think it is.
One thing
It's-
I love, my bad, and I know I'm going into the Lone Survivor. One thing that the guy says is like, look at him. That's a soldier. That's not a civilian. That's a soldier.
He signed up for this.
He signed up for this. That's how I think. I'm so intrigued with these responses. 'Cause the difference between all of us, but that's the whole thing. Like, that's a soldier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just like we saw.
But even like, and again, it's just it's a matter of perspective. When it in the military, like I feel like you need to have that mentality because
okay, I'll give you that.
because if you don't have that mentality, then it is a life and death, and it is the life and
can't
death not only of
overthink.
yourself,
You can't
but of your team.
overthink.
You know.
I get that. Yeah, that's where I'm struggling
but
too.
in the civilian world where
Yeah.
you're meant to watch these movies and have perspective and
Yeah.
think about the overall meanings, even when you see the slow motions and when she's firing back, it's a scared person that knows that somebody's going to shoot at her, and they're scared people that are trying to shoot back. That's all it is. It's everybody being scared, everybody firing. Nobody's knowing what we're winning or losing.
I
Yeah.
get you.
That's it.
I'm sorry I'm stuck with this, but it was like when I heard about Full Metal Jacket, I heard like the ending was like, yo, what
Look,
would you
dude,
do?
any good film
No,
is
yeah.
gonna pose questions that you're. That's my
Exactly,
philosophy
that's why I
on
love it.
cinema. It's posing these questions.
And
So-
I think
I'll pose it to
the
you.
most indicative. Give me a second.
Yeah.
The most indicative point to this argument that at the very end, Joker goes from being Joker to a soldier.
He contributes to
is
the
the
violence.
fact that like when we see other people die and we see the lifeless body and we just see them afterwards, that's when he cares. And when we see the fact that he shoots her and it's hard for him, but the camera never goes down and we're never given the moment
The
she
result.
dies.
because
We're
it's not
never going to give it a
reward,
chance.
yeah.
We're never going to have a chance to empathize.
Yeah.
We're never going to have a chance to connect with her and experience the argument that I'm having.
And most people in war take these moments to be confirmed kills, trophies.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've heard of that.
I mean, she's a soldier. She signed up for this. She's a trophy. If I get her, she's my confirmed kill. And we don't see her dead because she's not a trophy in this scenario. Joker didn't want to do it,
true. But it contribute.
but he contributed to the whole situation.
And afterwards, because he does that, he gets to wear that badge of honor and go out with his friends holding his rifle, feeling like I can now tell everybody I was in the shit and I've killed people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
that's the takeaway. And I think that's what the ending is posing, right? The Mickey Mouse, Mickeay.
Yeah.
The Mickey Mouse Club song. What a fucking ending.
brilliant to me. It's
Brilliant ending. Brilliant
all this
juxtaposition
chaos
of
and you got this.
the innocence of
Exactly.
Mickey Mouse and the Mickey Mouse Club, a club that gets
Oh,
together,
wow.
kids getting together, a fraternity, if you will, of kids getting together for something so innocent and childlike, and singing Mickey Mouse Club while they're off to their next. It says in
everything
the
burning around
voiceover,
'em.
we humped over. Humping is not what you think it is in war. They're humping is just moving to the next mission, moving to the next destination.
Yeah.
They're humping over to the next situation as a unit, as we came out of
Yeah.
this together
No, and
because
then-
we're singing the Mickey Mouse Club song.
The fact that even like before they were like disbanded, it's just a few of them left.
Yeah.
And then once they're reunited, then they
Power
have
numbers.
they have the whole group.
And
We're
again, very
bad.
very
whole
reminiscent
fraternity.
of the ending of Come and See.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to ask you the question. I know your question. I know your answer probably.
I think one of the things we haven't quite discussed in my position in this, and it's not a very strong position, I don't think. I try to live my life by
Half a
not
mile at a
making any
time.
major decisions on emotion. And that's the bad soldier. That's a very bad soldier.
I was gonna
not-
say that's a good person, bad soldier.
Exactly. It's a bad soldier to not act on emotion. You have to be very reactive and you have to be very immediate and you have to make quick
Decisive.
decisions. But I will argue that what's missing in militaristic situations is that you also have to be very relaxed. You have to be very under pressure, calm under pressure.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the combat of acting on emotion, right? So, like, you have to, when you're acting under pressure, you do have to think about your decisions here. They weren't under pressure anymore.
Towards the end?
They caught her.
Yeah,
There's
and
no
it was only
danger.
her. But then that's a whole nother.
There's no danger. They don't have to think quick. He can process this.
True.
He can process this. And again, if
But
your
she-
argument is,
well, there is. She's dying. Or she's suffering. So there is a sense of.
no.
Wait, that's the whole.
No,
that's
if,
the whole,
if there's any pressure coming, it's from his peers.
exactly.
It's from his peers. And your argument is, they just killed your best friends, motherfucker. Shoot her dead in the head and be done with it and fuck it and move on. And that's fueled by emotion. You're mad
Logic.
because they killed your friends. That's not logic.
No.
That's
What do you mean
emotion.
not logic?
You're
And-
upset because they
Comment. Is that logic?
That motherfucker killed my friend, so I'm gonna kill her.
No. Think about-
what math am I not mathing?
No, think about like okay, moments before,
Yeah.
that's the emotional response that you are
It's not an
arguing.
emotion.
No.
It probably is, but once I calm down, I still have the same.
No,
But
that-
your
or, like,
argument is still rooted in emotion. It's rooted that I just lost my friend and it was because of you, so I'm gonna get my revenge.
Okay, no emotion.
That's my point. I think if you act on emotion, your immediate response is gonna be, I'm gonna kill this bitch. She's fucked up. She tried to kill us. She killed 2 or 3, 4 of my boys. She's done. If you take a step back and either process her as a human, look, we haven't defined a couple of characteristics. This was a teenage girl.
I don't give a fuck.
She's a teenage girl.
I'm sorry, but I don't.
No, I understand. I understand your position. But she's a teenage girl. What happens in warfare? We even saw it in Apocalypse Now. Save the women and children.
Yeah.
Get them out of the way. Let the men fight. You're posed as Joker as like she's a teenage girl, a kid and a woman wrapped up into one.
Oh, that's a great note. Yeah.
And your argument is she's
Because
a soldier. Fuck it. She's
She's
done.
still an animal with a weapon trying to kill me.
Joker made the comment like, "So you also shoot women and children? How do you do that?"
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "What was his comment? Do you remember?"
Oh, the mother guy or
Yeah, no,
what's-
whoever was in the chopper shooting at the farmer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah, it was mother. No,
No,
mother.
it was some other dude.
yeah.
Some other brand new dude.
Yeah. I don't remember the comment, but yeah, the sentiment was
Yeah, it was just like, "Oh, you just gotta aim lower." Like, I mean,
yeah. But and also, what are we saying about the very fascinating scenes, the prostitution scenes? You know,
Love you long time.
in war, in Vietnam. There's so many stories about.
Yeah.
I slept with that girl in Vietnam and that streetwalker and what
Yeah.
have you. This shows us too the motorbike prostitute, and we're laughing at it. By the way, it's rooted in comedy, and Kubrick. This is just how Kubrick is.
Dark
He has
comedy
this dark
is-
sense of comedy,
yeah.
but dark sense of humor. But again, these women are women. They're prostitutes. That
Right.
these guys are just saying, "You're not worth $15. You're worth $5. I got
give
you
you
for
5,
$5.
yeah.
I got 5 on it, and you got to run through my whole boys."
That's how it was.
That's what it was. And again, just the implication that, and I hate to use this argument because it's such a cheap argument, but like we all have moms, we all have sisters, or what, I have a sister, and I have a niece, and I have a mother, and I have a grandmother. So like, of course you see through those eyes, and then you take that equation, not just a prostitution sentiment, but into warfare. And your initial reaction as a man is, I'm not going to shoot the kid and I'm not going to shoot the woman. But this right here is a kid woman. Do I shoot her? Do I put her out of her misery? Can I live with this for the rest of my life? It is a moral dilemma, but I still hold my contention that he doesn't have a moral compass because it's momentarily, it's emotional. It's not Joker saying like, have I been fighting with myself this entire picture to be a good person in the military? That doesn't exist in the picture. It's
I
just
also
in this
think
moment.
it's a very interesting perspective to say that he argues that the reason he has the thing born to kill and the peace sign, he says that there's duality.
Right.
He's saying that there's two sides, but they are coexisting.
Yeah.
And in moments like that, in moments when he has to shoot somebody and make the decision, it's not a duality. You're not going to fight for peace and a born killer. You're choosing, and I think that's where duality ends, and that's where he has to like settle into one like spot. You know.
So he
it
changed from the
doesn't combat
beginning.
my argument.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
It doesn't. It kind of complements my argument in a sense because now you're human. Now you're a human being making a life decision about another human being.
Right.
How many pictures have we talked about, like The Revenant, where the guy was left for dead and then he made it out on his own and then he survived? How come? Why wouldn't she be able to do that? If you leave her to survive, they fuck off and the rats are gonna get her, and then she picks herself up and she lives and she tells the tale. Why couldn't that exist?
Because she just killed 3 people.
No, I understand, but that's what they wanted to do. The peers were like, "Fuck her, leave her for the rats. Let's go." That's a form of torture. We'll let it happen that way. Our argument is eye for an eye. We're going to kill her dead right here on the spot. But that's also a way to be nice to her. That's part of the argument, right? I'm kind of being nice to her by killing her so that she doesn't suffer.
Yeah.
So again,
That is,
it just keeps posing these questions of what the right thing to do is. And Joker is just constantly battling all of the human questions that you ask yourself in this very moment. I think, and I know it sounds like I don't like this character. I do like this. This is a very complex character. I think Joker did it out of peer pressure. I don't think he did it for any other reason.
I disagree.
I think he was there listening to like these motherfuckers being like, "That's leave her for dead," or like, "Let's see if you got the boss,
To validate
kid."
that argument, right after he shoots her,
So we're gonna give you the congressional
we're
honor
left with
of-
so many compliments, and we're left with him going and smiling that he's with all his group singing the Mickey Mouse song.
So
Like
the
he's left.
camaraderie of war comes from being on the same page about killing somebody else.
No, I disagree. I think I'm putting myself in the feet on his shoes. That I clicked it. My gun didn't shoot. She clicked it. She wasn't able to hit me because my homie got me. That's the whole moral compass.
I also think that in the moment that he was trying to fire,
There's no.
in the moment that he's trying to fire, he wasn't looking at her face. She's not a person. She is the sniper.
Yeah.
You know, the
She's
second
the
she
threat.
that
turns
moment.
around,
At that moment.
She's not a person.
No, but
she's a threat.
when you
Yes,
don't,
you're right.
when
You're
you're
right.
in
You're
the
right.
military,
Rules of
especially in the-
combat. Rules of combat. One of the rules of combat
What
is
is
don't
it?
shoot somebody when they're turning around. When you have their back, right?
Well-
rules of combat. They were facing each other. They were at equal levels of ground. They were at rules of combat, right?
No,
but when she's
no.
helpless on the ground
No, that's
and not a threat,
That's not rules of combat.
Yes, it is.
No. You shoot to the threat. To the threat is done. That's a big quote on all of them.
Right,
You
sure.
shoot to the threat, it's gone.
But not when they're not a threat anymore. When they're
She is a threat.
She's on the ground, helpless. How is
she's
she a
still
threat?
breathing.
she's as much of a threat as like a ran over deer. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
No, I get what you're saying,
It's-
but just the fact that she's a soldier, probably trained to do this,
Yeah.
breathing is still a threat.
no, she's saying kill me, and she's saying the pain hurts. She's not saying
She's a helpless
Who
animal.
knows?
She's not
Not an
saying,
animal.
like,
She's an
yeah,
animal,
I've
but
seen
she's,
miracles of people, they leave her for dead, and she crawls and
but
finds.
she's
I've-
helpless.
I've
In
played-
How do we know?
in this
We've all
very
heard the
moment,
stories. We've
you'd
all
be
heard the
you'd make a
stories.
damn good general, Castro.
We've all heard the
Again,
stories.
we can continue to argue about this, and that's kind of the point of
Yeah,
cinema.
yeah.
But just my contention is I don't like to act on emotion. I think this is a very heavy, emotion fueled moment.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't
Yeah,
wouldn't wish on anybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
But
hard
yeah,
one.
anyways, yeah. So again, this is what good cinema does.
Exactly.
It creates these conversations. So yeah. Any rating changes? I think we're about that point.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm pretty set on my rating.
Same.
Like
Same here,
I,
yeah.
I love the film. I'm glad I watched it because I hadn't seen it before, and I love the fact that with these war pictures, Apocalypse Now and Full Metal Jacket, both Vietnam era, like war films. I love the difference in perspective and the way that directors have been able to bring.
Oh, that's very unique.
like-
It's so rich. It's
Yeah.
such a rich
Yeah.
area.
And I think it's because socially that war had so many conversations on what's right and what's wrong, but then internally, like it's so interesting to see that. Yeah, like when you see somebody like one of your friends die, like
Well, again, is what's fascinating to me about that war is absolutely the moral dilemma of have we even been involved to begin with?
Yeah.
But the fact that culture was changing and people were more outspoken about what they thought was right or wrong,
Yeah.
and the
True,
civil
true.
rights movement and pop culture and hippie era and what's wrong and how do I live my life versus the 1940s and the 1950s and the atomic era and the atomic family and proper Christian Jesus loving
Straight,
Americans
yeah.
and what's right. I mean, versus the 1970s where people were finally breaking out of
A
the
little bit more
shell.
loose.
It's so fascinating to pose the question when somebody actually doesn't have to follow the cookie cutter response of what an American is. It's
Yeah.
so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. Well,
But it's still, you would consider it cinema? It's
Absolutely.
and
Oh,
the-
yeah, absolutely.
no,
Absolutely.
for sure.
You,
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
put it
No
right
asterisk
there.
there.
I wouldn't
No
consider
asterisk
it.
there.
I wouldn't
There's a
consider it
slot
low
for it.
cinema either. I feel like
No.
any Kubrick film you watch, everyone is going to give you so much that you can like really chew over.
Yeah.
As far as like, how do I describe this emotion, this feeling? And I'm very, very impressed by it.
Yeah.
Next week,
Next week,
we'll be talking about
I've never seen
Ron
I've never
Lurie.
heard
I
of it.
haven't seen it either. A more modern picture, 2019, starring Paul Tamsey,
I thought you
Scott
said-
Eastwood. Interesting.
I thought Tom Hanks would
Orlando Bloom.
oh wow,
Orlando Bloom. Okay.
what the heck?
In 2019, The Outpost.
Interesting.
So yeah, we'll be talking about this more modern picture. This was a request, and we'll see where it's at.
I know a
In
little
war
bit about it?
films. I have no idea. I
Not
don't
like
know.
in
I know
any-
nothing.
I'm curious
about
to see it
Any
because I feel like
Oscar,
again we've
I
been
don't think
looking at a
so.
lot of older wars which have a lot more commentary. But
yeah, this must be what Iraq, Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Okay.
What is the tagline? A small team of U.S. soldiers battles against hundreds of Taliban fighters in Afghanistan.
Okay.
That's interesting. I feel like
It looks and feels like 12 strong.
oh, Critics' Choice for song. Okay.
Okay, it's got something.
Yeah.
It's got something.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But tune in next week. We'll talk about The Outpost. We'll close out our war month with that, and then we're going to get into Christmas films.
Yeah,
Everybody loves
lighten up.
Christmas.
Lighten it up for a
Yeah.
couple months. And our request month. Please submit your requests. This is the last, really, it is the last opportunity for you to do so. Because we're going to start making our picks for January, and that's request month. So let us know what you guys want us to talk about January. It doesn't have to be genre specific. Doesn't have to be anything specific. If you guys
Anything.
just want us to talk about it and you want to join us in the conversation, even let us know.
Yeah, we got a few people that want to try to jump on.
Yeah,
some
for
stuff.
sure. So, go watch Full Metal Jacket if you haven't. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about Kubrick and his choices
Kubrick.
on this, and just what a phenomenal storyteller he's obviously proven himself to be time and time again. So, thank you guys for tuning into the WatchTower Film Podcast. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Comment, like, love jacks.
All right.